We all have bridges on our railroads. These are a few that are on my railroad. Here's another one. This was a kit. I like that bridge. And then you have these bridges, which I scratch built. And some that I'm still working on. So in this episode, I want to show you how I've been building my bridges. So I make a paper template of the tracks to the length of the bridges that I want to build. And then I've marked the center of the curve of the bridge so I know where the center is. And I've cut some 40 thousandths plastic to a scale 10 feet tall. And right now I'm looking for the ends that I have beveled to meet together in the center because I'm using flat pieces to build a curve. Now I am measuring it out and marking it so I can cut this to size. I use a small square to make a nice straight square cut, and with a couple of passes of the knife, I then pick it up and snap it to the proper length. At the score mark I had just made, I mark the end of it so I know which end is the center, and then I file this down. And then I will repeat this for the second half. Now I'm just measuring them out, making sure they look good, and I grab my 1, 2, 3 blocks to put the plastic against so it'll stand upright so that the two pieces will stay where I want them while I glue them. Now that the glue is dried on the two flat pieces, I get myself a piece of H column number 282, and I will cut these to the length I need to go from the center to the end. A little bit longer, I'll trim them back later. But I take these and glue them into the inside of the bridge to give me more surface area for the rails to be over top of something. Now I grab my chopper and I get my scale and I set up the stop for approximately 5.5 end scale feet, because I do work in end scale, to cut the same 282 H-beam to make the braces to connect the two sides of the bridge together. So you can see here I am setting up the stop, and then I will cut a bunch of braces. cross bracing is cut, I get my template and the piece of parchment paper, lay it over top. I weight it down with some 1, 2, 3 blocks, and now I get the 2 halves of the bridge, which have the I-beam on the inside of them already, and place them on the edge of the template. Adjust them a little bit. They may have moved from gluing, but I get everything all set, and then I start laying in my cross bracing. So this is my girder bridge. This is the top. This is the end. And this is how you can tell the top, the space right here. And this is what the girder looks like. So on this side, it doesn't look like a girder, it just looks like flat plastic. So we're going to add the bottom and the top edge and then the ribs to make it look like a girder. So now the bridge has its 2 top and bottom rails on it. I have to measure to see how long of a piece I need to put in between these 2 top and bottom rails. You see me measuring it there. And then I get my chopper, set it up, and cut all the pieces. So now that the top and bottom rails have dried, I'm trimming off the ends, and then I get my ruler out and I measure the distance from the end to the center, and then mark out what the distance should be. I think it was approximately 7 feet, maybe 7.5 feet for each line, and that's where I placed my ribs. So now I start with the X bracing using styrene strip number 111, 15 thousandths by 30 thousandths. I cut these and put them in an X pattern on the bridge to brace the bridge side to side. Now that the side-to-side X bracing is done, I decide to brace the top and bottom, doing the same thing, using the same material and X bracing between the cross members. So this is the bridge we've been building. Top side here, the inside of the curve, the outside of the curve, the underside, your ends. So that is the bridge. Done. And this is the bridge in place. You can see how it follows a nice curved track. Works out well. You can see the girders, and I started the next bridge. So got to get that one done, and then I can carry on with the rest of the canyon. And this is the other thing I'm going to be doing. I went and bought the video Unstoppable, and I'm going to sit down and watch this weekend with no commercials. Seen it plenty of times on TV, but now I have it myself and I can watch it with no commercials. So that's the end of episode 50. You saw how I made my girder bridges. I made these more out of necessity than anything else. All of these bridges are on curves. I wanted all the bridges to be narrow, where the tracks went over the main part of the girder and the ties hung outside the girder just a little bit. And I think I accomplished that. I think they look good. And you guys know what I'm going to be doing tonight. I'm going to be watching Unstoppable. You know, I appreciate everybody who watches. You know, if you're new to the channel, I'm glad you were here. For the people that have always watched me, thank you for coming back, and thank you for watching the video. I really do appreciate it. You know, all the comments I get, you know, feel free to subscribe. It costs nothing. Give me a thumbs up. Pass it on to your friends. Share it. Leave a comment. You know, this way I get to read the comments, see what you guys like, don't like. I try to respond to all the comments. You know, it's all good. No matter what, it's good. And as I always say, keep on modeling.